Let's do some hamming. Some ham for a bit. What is that? We're hamming.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some mysterious things.
This is Slapped Ham.
But as always, before we dive in, remember to hit that subscribe button and get ready for
Look, we got chat over there too.
Just like this.
Should I put a background behind the chat? This is just really a temporary setup.
In this
but
spine-chilling video shared to TikTok by
some other time.
alkakui.tv, we witness a store worker going through their nightly routine. The worker starts by checking the front door and ensuring that everything in the front area of the store is in
just
order.
tape and work.
Then they proceed to the back, entering the refrigerator to reorganize the shelves.
Why does he just does the thumbs up every time?
Camera captures.
See, everything's fine. Doesn't even sound like the refrigerator's on.
As you can see, a shadowy figure passes by the refrigerator
Thumbs up.
door.
Maybe he's saying to give a thumbs up.
Alarmed, the worker quickly grabs the camera and searches the store for any sign of the mysterious figure. Despite their best efforts,
Motorcycle?
the startled worker is unable to find any trace of the person. Could it be that the worker unintentionally caught a ghost on camera? Was there another explanation for the eerie figure's sudden
No other
appearance?
explanation.
Share your thoughts on this one in the comments down below.
Who would be in the store?
A Reddit user going by the handle Mermaids Have Wi-Fi has recently uploaded a spine-chilling video that appears to show an eerie transparent figure sauntering across their friend's grandparents' front yard.
Sick Reddit name, bruh. I can't believe I didn't think of that myself. It should be Mermaids Have Whale-Fi.
Footage,
Right,
which
come
was
on.
captured on a Ring doorbell camera,
Something-
sparked intense
something
debate
interesting.
among Redditors, with many speculating about the possible explanations behind the mysterious figure's strange appearance.
Some dude.
The grandmother firmly believes that the footage shows a ghost.
It's like
However,
some
the
fucking
poster is
person.
Not so sure. She thinks it's simply a regular person walking through their yard at 2 a.m. However, she does note that this
Sleepwalker?
in itself is rather unsettling. Other skeptics have not been silent in voicing their opinions on the matter either. Some have offered alternative explanations, the most common being that the mysterious figure is likely the result of a camera glitch. While no definitive answer has been reached, the debate continues to rage on Reddit and beyond. The video has undoubtedly captured the imagination
Whoa,
of many,
just
leaving
smacked
them
me,
to ponder the
microphone.
boundaries between reality and the paranormal world. In a tragic incident in 2015, 25-year-old Lynn Grossbeck lost her life when her car struck a concrete barrier at the end of a bridge. The accident occurred near the intersection of Arrowhead Trail and Main Street in Spanish Fork, Utah, causing the vehicle to veer off the road and ultimately land in the Spanish Fork River. The car's position made it difficult to see from the road. Grossbeck unfortunately perished in the accident as the car overturned in the water. Miraculously, her 18-month-old daughter, Lily, who was secured upside down in her seat, survived the incident. Around 14 hours
This is
later,
a little
officials
ghoulish.
discovered the wreckage and alerted the police. Eerily, the rescuers reported hearing a mysterious call
It's
for
like-
help coming from within the car when they arrived at the scene.
To me, it was plain as day, because I remember hearing a voice. It didn't sound like a child,
Was it just her before she died?
just saying, "Help me."
In a more recent recollection of the incident, police
Damn, this guy's
officer
sick
Tyler
hair.
Meadows said that, "In my mind, in my heart at that time, I thought, I don't know what's calling out to us. There's nobody else around. It
Call
wasn't
that the
a baby."
wave.
In the back seat, they found Lily, who was upside down and barely above the rushing cold water.
Cold water for about 16 hours.
Bedoe's recounted that when he and the other rescuers
Fuck.
flipped the car, it submerged the young girl under the water for 3 to 4 minutes.
The car upside down for that many hours, freezing cold. When we flipped the car, it submerged her underwater for 3-4 minutes.
Many were amazed at how 18-month-old Lily was able to survive the ordeal. The water in which the car was found was so cold that several police officers and firefighters who jumped into the river to help needed to be treated for hypothermia at a local
Damn,
hospital.
6-story ham.
So extreme, 3 police officers and 4 firefighters.
This is so fucking dumb.
With hypothermia.
Someone heard a
was
voice.
heard calling out for help. Was it just a figment of the rescuer's imagination? Was
In
there
this
something
awful,
paranormal
tragic
at play here?
accident.
Let me know your theories on this one in the comments down below.
To me, it was plain as day, because I remember hearing a voice. It didn't sound like a child. Just saying, help me.
This next
It's like
clip, uploaded
barely
to TikTok by
anything
Elkakui.tv
supernatural about that.
is brief, but nonetheless eerie. It appears to be an excerpt of some footage taken from a furniture store security camera. Take a look.
Oh, fuck. Dude, how many times do you think that they could put on the
Everything
footage
appears
from this
perfectly normal.
furniture store and
Suddenly,
see
two chairs begin rocking back and
recliners, like,
forth as
moving
if
a little bit?
manipulated by some sort of unseen force. Based on the
like that
timestamp in
isn't
the
that
video,
crazy.
the footage was recorded just after 3 in the morning. Seems that the clip has been sped up to cover several minutes, which may make the rocking chair's movements more noticeable. However, this still doesn't provide an explanation for why the chairs began to move in the first place. So could this furniture store be home to a playful poltergeist? Or is there another way to explain this bizarre clip? Let me know your opinions on this down below.
What's that mean?
During a tour of the Edinburgh Vaults with their partner, Redditor Worth Business 7156 captured this photo. They mention that the tour wasn't a ghost hunt, but rather one designed to provide a deeper understanding of the vault's past. However, as they wandered through the eerie yet intriguing spaces, their tour guide mentioned that she sensed some presences nearby. After taking the picture, the poster's husband suggested adjusting the exposure and balance settings to reveal more detail in the dimly lit environment. The photo appears to show something rather creepy. According to the OP, the photo was only meant to show the tour guide and the darkened vault. The strange figures in the background were allegedly not present when this photo was taken.
Some
The
people
Edinburgh
chilling.
Vaults, also known as the Southbridge Vaults, are a series of underground chambers and tunnels located beneath the 19 arches of the South Bridge in Edinburgh, Scotland. Completed in 1788, the vaults were initially intended to house businesses, workshops,
They're
and
just
storage
chilling.
spaces, as well as
Yo,
serve as
dude
living
boobs.
quarters for the city's working class.
Good to see you, dude. Hope
However,
you've been
due to
well.
poor construction, the vaults began to suffer from dampness and water infiltration,
That
leading to
27.
unfavorable living conditions.
That prime
As a
gaming.
result, businesses abandoned the premises, and the vaults eventually became a refuge for the city's
Good old
poorest
dude
residents,
boobs.
and a hub for illicit activities including smuggling, gambling, and illegal taverns.
Tavern
The
room.
Edinburgh Vaults are notorious for their chilling ghost stories and alleged paranormal activity, which have drawn both thrill seekers and paranormal investigators into their depths.
Absolutely
One of the most
chilling.
famous ghosts said to haunt the Edinburgh Vaults is that of Mr. Boots, also known as the Watcher. Believed to be the spirit of a former resident or criminal.
As
Mr.
above,
Boots
so
is often
below,
described
yeah.
as a tall man
It's pretty
wearing
cool.
a long coat and boots, and he's known to follow visitors. People have reported hearing his heavy footsteps echoing.
I haven't
through
seen
the
that in a long
chambers,
time.
and some have even claimed to have felt him tugging at their clothes. Another spine-chilling tale from the vaults is the story of
It's
a
about
malevolent
Paris, right?
spirit called
The Paris
Gobbler.
Crips.
This restless entity is said to be particularly aggressive, causing visitors to experience feelings of unease, nausea, and even physical harm. In addition to these well-known spirits, there are countless other stories of ghostly encounters in the Edinburgh Vaults. Visitors have reported hearing whispers, disembodied voices, and children's laughter echoing through the dark corridors. Some have even claimed to see the apparitions of women and children,
Yeah,
perhaps
just
the
been
spirits
chilling.
of former residents who lived in poverty and squalor.
Yeah, going to hell in the
Is it possible
catacombs.
that this Redditor has successfully captured photographic evidence of some of the ghosts of those who once inhabited the Edinburgh vaults? Take another look at the photo and decide for yourself.
No. Looks like nothing.
Before we take a look at a mysterious object flying through the air, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary and unusual clips.
Scary and unusual.
A video
Cruel
featuring a man walking his
and
dog was
unusual
recently
clips.
shared on Reddit by user Rev19RB. Although they claimed that the clip wasn't their own, they found it intriguing enough to share with the community.
Just
In
a
the
guy
footage,
flying
an
by.
orb-shaped object can be seen hovering low over a field, capturing the interest of many viewers and prompting various theories and speculations.
Look at that dog.
The orb's unusual gyrating movements adds a layer of mystery to the sighting, leading some to question if it might be evidence of unexplained or even extraterrestrial phenomena.
Yeah.
Just me and Hero. And this things in the air.
Why is he whispering like they're gonna hear him?
Somewhere.
A close-up of the object reveals its shape to be spherical, and it appears to be covered in reflective material.
What is that?
What is that, dude?
While it's easy to assume that the footage displays something otherworldly, it's important to consider alternative explanations. One possibility is that the orb may simply be a stray balloon, with its peculiar gyrating motion resulting from wind currents.
Wind currents.
Ultimately though, without any further information or analysis, it's challenging to draw any definitive conclusions about the true nature of this mysterious orb. So, we'll throw this one over to you, the viewers. What do you think this object could be? Share your theories with one another in the comments down below.
Bam. No ghosts this time. Not this time. But all right. Maybe this nuke video has some real ghosts. Never before caught on film.
Horror. It's 4 in the morning and truck driver William Church is driving down an empty
But if
highway
it was every
just outside
single
of Phoenix, Arizona.
Same video
He
from
suddenly
Pam's
spots
videos.
something in front of him that makes his blood run cold.
Blood run cold.
William's truck dash cam
We
records
see
the
in the
moment when
light.
a translucent figure appears to be standing on the right lane of the highway. The truck driver can't believe his eyes, but he's not the only one who spots the bizarre figure. Sitting next to him in the passenger seat is his truck driving partner, Erica Lake. She is also shocked by the sudden appearance of this strange apparition on the road.
At first, I thought it was a human, and then when you can't really see the face and the top of the body up, I was kind of, I wonder what, and then we were thinking about maybe it's a ghost.
I actually twitched the wheel to miss whoever it was.
The highway they are on, Arizona State Route 87, is notorious for its many deadly accidents where countless lives have been tragically cut short. Adding to the mystery, the figure they capture appears to have no upper torso or head. So did the two truckers capture proof of the paranormal? Or just what do you think this is? Let me know. Bearer of bad news. Popular urban explorers Matt and Andy from the YouTube channel Finders Beepers History Seekers
Yo,
are back with
Finders
another exploration
Beepers.
at an abandoned farmhouse in Yorkshire, England. This time they bring along their third team member, a cute little dog named Bear. They gear Bear up with a GoPro camera and a flashlight, and he starts to roam around the dark abandoned house. But unlike any of their previous explorations, Bear immediately begins to act very strange. The little dog sniffs around, running from room to room as if he's trying to find something.
It was like, oh no, I think I know what you
Why would a dog do
What is
that?
he doing? Oh, but you rode.
It's on a proper
Like
mad
dogs
one tonight.
never do that.
Go find it. Go find it. Find it. Where is it? There's something weird about this place. I feel like we've just had the worst start to a video ever because Bear's just all over the place, and I don't know what you're doing, snorting up.
Got dust up his smells.
Oh, I noticed cupboards, to be fair.
Eat it.
What we got in here? We've got not very much in the bottom. Is there anything in the... What was that?
Whimper.
You like a whistle?
This
Where's
guy.
Bear? Bear?
Oh no, not the dog.
My concern is that... Oh, he's upstairs.
Just let the dog wander around by himself. What if there was a ghost man? He took the dog to the ghost world.
Bear? Oh, he's coming now. That worried me. I thought he'd hurt himself or something, or...
I don't whimper.
Yeah. You little fool. There's something going on with you today.
But yeah, you got me strapped up, you
As the
fucking
guys
idiot.
continue to explore the downstairs of the farmhouse, Little Bear sneaks away again to take another look upstairs. Matt and Andy are sorting through a pile of old books when something happens that is very unsettling. Anyway, I want to have a quick look on this bed, see if I can find anything else. Right, what? Bear? What's wrong with you? Just
Do you
started
see the
barking
dog cam?
randomly.
Are they gonna show that?
What's the matter, love? Hey?
You found a rabbit? You found some rabbits?
Yeah, he found rabbits upstairs.
What are you doing?
What is it? What you found? I wonder if there's someone outside. The little dog Bear barks and then comes charging back down the stairs. Wondering what caused the dog's strange reaction, the Finders
find
Beepers team decides to head upstairs to check the second floor of the farmhouse. They look into one of the upstairs bedrooms, and that's when things take a terrifying turn. What ear is that? What even is it? Like, is it out of a bathroom or something?
Like an old bathroom cabinet. That's we've got a USB.
And then how's that got a lock on it there for a
What
bathroom cabinet?
is it?
That makes no sense at all. Bear, you're just causing so much bother. What the
I feel like the dog not caring means that nothing happened. Really? No, now he does.
Someone has just run down those stairs.
I'm not going down there.
Weird stairs.
Hello? Hello? Matt and Andy suddenly hear someone running down the stairs. They quickly go over and take a look down the staircase, but there's no one there. Now the guys head back downstairs.
Show the dog camera.
And after a careful search, they don't find anyone in the house. So they decide to check the footage on Bear's GoPro camera. And what they find is truly chilling. Bear, what are you doing? He's covered in cobwebs. Absolutely covered.
Absolutely
Do you know what way
covered.
of doing this? We can watch his footage back. I'll have to do it on his camera.
Yeah.
Come on. Right, we need to show you something on this camera, because his camera's in my hand, of what he's just seen. And I haven't looked at all the footage yet. I've just seen one thing and it has chilled me. It has proper chilled me. Look at this.
Proper chilled me. What? That kind of like just looked like someone with like a mask on. Yeah, the hand did look weird. Dog's like, what the fuck is going on?
Right, boy. Bear? What's wrong with you? Just started barking randomly. What's wrong? Found a rabbit. We found some rabbits.
In the footage, the poor little doggo jumps back in fear as he finds someone hiding underneath the bed.
It looks weird, like he's not really there. I don't know.
He barks and quickly runs back downstairs to Matt and Andy. The guys go back up to check the bedroom.
I'm in my pants now.
How'd he get away?
Absolutely in my pants. But yeah, we'd come up here, and whoever it was, from what I can see, I didn't even
Speaking of
go
that,
downstairs ever again.
let me go to the bathroom for a second.
Yeah, it's here, look.
Yeah.
Beeper Bear.
Beeper Bear is the name of the dog's YouTube. It's funny. Hey, I'll be right back in one. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm just gonna run an ad so we can get rid of the pre-roll too. I'll be right back. We will watch the rest of the video. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Watch the rest.
We need scary videos. So if you see a scary video that you think would be great on the top
Oh, they're
5,
running out.
email us at nukestop5@gmail.com. Behind
Running out of scary
the locked
videos.
door. This week, another mysterious video was shared on the Nukes Top 5 subreddit with no original
It's like Mars
source.
needs moms.
The
We
clip
need
was uploaded by an Arabic repost
scary
account on
videos.
Instagram, but the language spoken in the video is Spanish. But wherever it came from, the footage is truly terrifying.
It's the baby from Layers of Fear that ran into the cabinet. That Jerma saw.
A ball is thrown out of nowhere and a little boy appears behind the cameraman. The boy giggles and then seems to run right through a closed door.
What?
Without warning, the horrifying face of a woman seems to lean
But
right
people
out
can't
of the
walk through a
locked
closed
wooden
door.
terrifying the
What?
filmer. The video then cuts and we have no idea what happens next. Now, as always, when there's no source, I'm certainly not going to say that this bizarre clip is real, but it's definitely very spooky. Follower. One late night in an undisclosed city in Indonesia, a CCTV camera captures a man walking home from work.
How is that possible?
And
People can't walk
he
through
doesn't
doors.
seem to be alone.
It's not how doors work. Yeah, you forgot he has a film. There's some kid running around. It's not mine.
A translucent figure seems to appear out of the darkness and creepily follows the man. Now, because we don't have a source, we can only imagine just what might have happened to the man next. Because just what is this? Let me know what you think.
What do you think?
Whispers in the dark. These next 3 videos were shared by a Reddit user named Luke. Luke claims that ever since he was a child that he would experience terrifying paranormal activity when visiting his aunt's home in Iowa. The creepy old house was built way back in the 1860s. And Luke claims that ghostly events happen so often in the house that his aunt isn't even bothered by them anymore. Now, for the first time in 10 years, Luke decides to return to his aunt's house for a visit. And it did not go well. One night at around 2:30 in the morning, Luke is woken up by the eerie sound of voices. He quickly grabs his phone and begins to record.
I'm still hearing voices. Listen.
Sounds like you just left the TV on downstairs.
Luke is now wide awake and continues to record as the unexplained activity in the house only seems to get worse and worse.
I hear knocking again.
And then something happens.
Sir, did you order pizza?
Nightmare fuel.
We're here.
A childlike voice can be heard whispering
Sounds like it's like
something
in
near
the
Luke's
fucking
ear.
microphone.
Luke says that he could hear the voice saying, "Who's that guy?" One of Luke's viewers believes that the voice then says, "He was killed over here." Luke says that the whispering in his room became so intense that he left the house and spent the rest of the night sleeping in his car. So, what do you think? Is this real evidence of the paranormal, or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. What looks back? This next video shows a group of friends taking a smoke break at an abandoned old house somewhere in the Philippines. A girl in the group quickly gets creeped out and insists that they all return to the car. However, the guys want to take their time, and one of them even decides to pull out his phone and film a bit.
Ay, naku, nasaan na ba tayo? Gusto niyo na.
Aba, lumang pump house to, no? Wala nga. Alam mo, hindi na kita sasama dito. Masyado kang bad.
Kasi naman, pwede sa kotse.
Pwede doon. Pag damoy ng nanay ko, hindi na ako papagamitin ako.
Well, it turns out that the girl's creepy feeling about the old decaying house might have been right after all. Because, did you see it? As the cameraman pans around, a horrifying face appears right in front of the lens.
It doesn't look like anything.
The face doesn't look human, with creepy round eyes and thin, pointy teeth. It appears to have no hair, no nose, and it looks like its veins are bulging underneath the skin. In fact, it looks more like some sort of horrifying creature than a person at all.
So it's like a
Unfortunately,
mask.
the clip suddenly cuts off, leaving us to wonder
Yeah, like a wall
just
or
what
something
happened
at the
next.
most.
But is it real, or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. The Lake Shawnee Amusement Park.
It looks funny if
Paranormal
it's a creature.
investigators Dustin and Lisa from the YouTube channel The South Cax 2.0 traveled
The
to the
fuck kind
abandoned
of
Lake
name's
Shawnee
that?
Amusement Park in Princeton, West Virginia. Built in 1926, the small amusement park was not exactly up to modern safety standards. It is estimated that in total 6 people, mostly children, lost their lives here. The park was eventually closed and left abandoned in 1966. But it is said that even today, the park is severely haunted by the ghosts of its previous visitors. Dustin and Lisa begin their investigation at an abandoned swing ride where a little girl lost her life. Lisa decides to begin what is called a pendulum session, asking questions of the spirits of the park while dangling a pendulum to see if it will move on its own in response. What happens next is downright creepy.
The little girl that's here,
Downright chilling.
the object that I'm holding, it kind of looks like a necklace, and you're more than welcome to touch it. It just lets me know answers to questions that I ask you.
Yeah, we're downright chilling.
Feel free to answer as much or as little as you would like. Do you like it here at Lake Shawnee?
No.
And that's a yes.
Did you see it? While Lisa is asking questions to the spirit of the little girl that passed away on the swing ride, a shadow-like figure can be seen walking from right to left behind the 2 investigators. Dustin and Lisa don't hear or see anyone and continue their investigation, not even knowing what they just caught on camera. So could it be that the spirit of one of the child visitors who passed away at the park came out to attempt to communicate with Lisa? Let me know what you think. You can watch this entire investigation over on the YouTube channel, The South Cax 2.0. Passing through.
South Cax.
Nuke's Top 5 viewer Ryan McLean emailed us about a scary experience he had after a night out in Texas. So, around 2 in the morning, Ryan is driving back home when he comes to a stop at a railway crossing just as the train passes. But he spots something very unusual just across the tracks.
What the f is that? Why does it look like a f***ing somebody's standing next to the goddamn car?
What does it look like?
What the f is that?
It looks like nothing. What the fuck is he looking at? I'm not even sure. Boom.
Okay, what the f?
A dark shadow-like figure can be seen standing and moving around on the other side of the tracks. Ryan finds it odd that some very large person would just be standing next to a car in the middle of the road. So he begins to record the event with his phone, but he is shocked when whoever or whatever it is simply seems to fade away and just disappear.
They just fade away?
Ryan says he went over his footage thoroughly, but he's still not completely sure just what he captured. So is this a paranormal event caught on camera? Or just some very strange man staring almost motionless into someone's car at 2 a.m.? It's pretty creepy either way. Out of left field. These next videos were shared to TikTok by poster All Day Everyday 1772, who owns a small farm in Oklahoma. He says that he and his wife recently moved to their farm and are working hard to transform the land they own into a beautiful harvestable garden and maybe raise some chickens. However, their peaceful plans get derailed when user All Day Everyday comes home from work one night to discover a light on in one of his outdoor sheds.
Just got home from work and my shed light is on. Sorry, I'm spanning the yard just to make sure nobody else is out here. I spoke to my neighbor after that last video and he said his junior high boys have been playing pranks on people, so I think it's them. But they don't really have anywhere to go. So I'm gonna bust in here and try and catch them. I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, what the fuck? Why? Hey, why would you just like look for a minute? Hey.
The lights flicker on and off, and then seemingly out of nowhere, a dark figure appears in front of the shed's window. User All Day Everyday rushes over to the shed and checks
the way he
inside.
turns is like,
He finds no one there. Cut to almost 2 weeks later, and All Day Everyday hears loud banging noises coming from another one of his outdoor sheds.
All day, every day, I'm hearing this.
Is absolutely terrifying.
What? Yeah, he's just got like a backyard full of shit.
Someone walking around outside the shed. He hurries out to try to catch the trespasser, but just like last time, there's no one there. But when he looks over at
Backyard
his
like a
house,
horror
he
indie
sees
game.
something that shakes him to his core. A dark figure seems to walk right into the front door of his home. Now, All Day Everyday calls the police to come and investigate, but no one is found inside the house. So, a couple of days later, late one night, he suddenly hears a loud banging sound coming from his garage. He jumps out of bed and goes to check it out. What he finds is truly bizarre.
What is that noise?
Truly bizarre.
The door to the attic is opening and closing by itself, but when he pulls out the ladder and climbs up to investigate, it's
pretty new looking ladder.
There is just nothing there. TikTok user All Day Everyday says that his next step is to set up cameras in his home. But for now, he has no idea what is happening around his farm and doesn't know what to believe anymore. So what do you think is going on at this small farm in Oklahoma? Did the strange shadow figure stalking the farm somehow enter and take up residence inside the home?
Yeah, that shed's only like not even halfway built. What's up with that? It's like shit.
Mirror, mirror.
His neighbors are like fucking with him because it's like we're listening to a bunch of rednecks.
YouTube channel Toppy traveled to a very remote and secluded abandoned mansion in Russia. The large house is incredibly hard to reach, surrounded by a river and only accessible through one bridge, which has collapsed over the years. The investigators came prepared and brought rubber shoe covers to cross the submerged part of the bridge. With all of the trouble it takes to get to the abandoned mansion, it's extremely unlikely that anyone would be at the house, especially in the middle of the night. But soon after the team arrives, they are exploring the second floor of the building and they already experience something
going up those stairs.
Weird.
Looks like a house from PUBG.
Мне тоже. Откуда отсюда?
It's loud.
Ну вот из комнаты как будто бы.
A loud bang suddenly comes from a room behind them. So, they decide to set up a static camera inside this room and light a few candles to try to encourage the spirits to make contact. But while they're arranging their candles, this happens.
Werewolf?
Это что, стук был сейчас?
At least they're being polite. It was as if someone knocked on the door.
The eerie sound of someone or something knocking on a door from
Yeah, it's like
somewhere
literally
in the
about to
house
collapse.
can be heard, and the team starts
Made of
to
like
get
hollow
a bit
concrete.
freaked out. After lighting 3 candles, they leave the room as the static camera keeps recording. A few minutes later, and the camera captures something disturbing. And now the
Start a
Toppy
fire.
team decides to bump things up a notch.
Where'd your legs go? I can't see them.
Brought along a 50-year-old mirror that allegedly can be used to summon spirits. Now, Sergey and Dima head off to a different part of the mansion, and Nastya goes into a room all alone and sits in front of the old mirror. What happens next is downright chilling.
It was downright chilling.
Nastya starts to hear strange sounds just before a dark shape seems to form in the mirror. Nastya now realizes that she might have gone just a bit too far by bringing the old mirror to this very haunted location. She believes that she might have accidentally just summoned a dangerous dark entity. She quickly radios her team members to come back.
Дима, Сергей, приходите. Что-то пошло не по плану, походу.
Что случилось?
So, what do you think this is? Is it a ghost or something more dark and sinister?
Yeah,
You can watch this
some
entire
ghosts downright
investigation
chilling.
with even more spooky moments over on the YouTube channel Toppy. Thanks so much for watching. My upload schedule is it's messed up, so please subscribe and hit the little bell icon so that you never miss a video.
It's messed
Follow
up.
me on the socials, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.
All right. Let's check out. There's a new assassin rapper, I think. There is. Hell yeah. The Crane.
Brooke used to have a problem sleepwalking. She would love if she knew she could just sleep and stay asleep in bed, but unfortunately she sleepwalked and did very strange things while sleepwalking. One night Brooke got out of bed and walked down her stairs.
In her sleep,
and
she's a
down
crane
to the
operator.
basement and did ironing while all in her sleep.
Nice, that's kinda
Brooke was
sick.
driving for a few miles.
You wake up, all
in
your
her
errands are
sleep.
done.
Brooke was very lucky to have not
Don't even have to go to
crashed
work.
her car. The thing is with sleepwalking is you should never wake anyone up from sleepwalking, because if you do, they will
we just let her
more than
drive the
likely
car.
suffer confusion arousal. You might put them in more danger if you do wake them up. One night Brooke got up and while asleep walked down her road and into a local construction site. There was a crane and she climbed up the crane, a whole 150 feet high in the air. Brooke walked over the top of the crane while asleep and stood on
knew
the
it.
edge of it. Thankfully, a policeman drove along and spotted her. He had guessed it was Brooke as he knew about her before from other incidents. He knew that if he called out to her, she would suffer from confusion arousal and more than likely would fall as a result. He didn't know what else to do but to call her mom. Lucky Brooke had her phone on her with her pajamas, which
Her mom was sleeping
knew
with her
she
eyes
used to
wide
do,
open, like a
just
fucking
in case
psychopath.
They couldn't find her after sleepwalking. Her mom rang, and because of a ringtone registering with her as something she knew and her mom's voice, she quickly woke up and thankfully she lived to tell the tale. Thanks for watching the Assassin Rapper.
All right,
And if
anyone
you
want to
want
analyze
stay
that for
up to
me?
date on new content, then please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell.
What do you
to be
think?
notified on new content.
New continent. See, that's like an assassin rapper line. Should have. I'm making content on a new continent. Come through. I'm incontinent. Really? Like, I'm just writing shit for him. He could be the next Streets. You know? Knock some shit up.
This story happened when I was 16 years old. I was living in Ohio at the time and went camping with my friend in the Zaleski State Forest.
Zaleski State Forest?
It was the first time our parents had allowed us to go camping on our own, and the last. When they dropped us off, we started searching for a spot to set up camp as we were walking through the forest. We were walking for a while and finally found a spot. By this time, the sun was beginning to set.
We lost all detail in our
Got a
faces.
fire going. We cooked hot dogs until it became dark. After we finished eating, we started joking around and trying to
What is that
scare each
around their
other with
meat,
scary
like legs?
stories.
But
As we started cooking marshmallows, I thought I heard heavy breathing coming from the woods. I thought for a moment I saw a dark figure peek out from behind a tree, but it was too dark to see clearly.
it's like he thought he saw something that his friend put a fucking marshmallow in his face.
Our tents to sleep. The next day, we went on a hike over to a nearby lake. As we were hiking, I couldn't help but feel like we were being watched.
Nice backpack.
I kept looking around, but I couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. I told Mark this, but he didn't think anything of it. He didn't take me seriously and just laughed. When we reached the lake, we swam around in the water for a while. As we were swimming, I noticed someone standing behind a tree of a similar size to the figure
what the
I'd
fuck
seen
was
the night
that?
before. I thought I saw him peek out at me for a moment.
Man.
I was kind of freaked out by that, but Mark still did not take me seriously. I convinced Mark to investigate the tree with me.
Just draw them with pants on.
There was nothing there. While we were walking back, I heard a rustle in the bushes. I asked Mark if he heard it, and he nodded. We turned around and again saw nothing. Mark thought it was just a wild animal, so we kept walking.
I saw pants.
Eventually, we heard a stick crack. The noise was coming from the left of us. We looked over in that direction and caught sight of the figure again. He was peeking at me behind a bush. He was looking at me directly with his wide, bloodshot eyes. I screamed and watched him disappear into the forest. Mark looked back at me, but since he didn't see anyone, he figured I was just
like
trying
what
to
you
trick
see,
him.
Mark?
Mark was pissed. He yelled that I was ruining his trip. We didn't talk to each other for the rest of the day. When we reached our camp, we went our separate
Why was he
ways.
fucking? Why did his
decided to
arms
take
up
a
like
walk
that?
into the woods that night. As I was walking, I heard a gruff voice from behind me. Thinking it was Mark, I shouted angrily, "Hey Mark, what are you doing?" I turned behind
I'm just
me.
trying to hang
The
some
person I
dong,
saw
man.
Wore a gray jacket, stained work jeans, and a dirty baseball cap. He almost looked
Oh,
like a
damn.
middle-aged man with gray, wispy hair. He hurried off into the thorn bushes the moment I saw him, but I was
He
wearing
just
shorts
runs
and didn't
fucking
want to cut
hightails.
my legs, so I didn't follow him. I returned to the camp and saw Mark making a fire. He immediately apologized to me, and what I realized next really freaked me out. Mark wasn't wearing a gray jacket, work jeans, or a baseball cap. I didn't tell Mark about what I had seen because I didn't want to get into another fight. The rest of the night was normal, and when it became dark, we returned to our tents for the night. But in the middle of the night, I woke up to a strange noise coming from outside. It sounded like someone walking around. I checked my phone and saw it was 4 a.m. I also heard some gruff breathing like I had heard before. That's when I realized we hadn't put out our campfire. However, I was too nervous to go outside because of the strange noises. That's when I saw the shadow of a man walk by the side of our tent.
It's him.
It looked like he was wearing a baseball cap and a jacket. What happened next, I will never forget. The shadow pulled out what looked to be a knife. Slowly, I heard the zipper begin to open. My heart started beating faster and faster. That's when I
Slowly,
saw it.
my
A
zipper
head
begins to
poked into the
unzip.
tent with terrible, red, bloodshot eyes. He smiled a wide, creepy smile with yellow teeth that shined. His smile started getting wider and wider. Then he whispered to me in his raspy voice,
Then he killed me.
"I killed your friend, and you'll be next."
What?
Just as he raised his knife over me, Mark came and punched him in the side, right where his kidney was. Mark
Right
was a
where
pretty
his
big
kidney
guy,
was.
so he was able to knock the guy on his side. The next thing I knew, I heard him punching the old man from outside. I was too in shock to remember most of what happened next, but eventually, I heard police sirens. After a while, a police officer rushed over to me and told me, "You'll be okay, we've got him." After that, we were too freaked out to stay there, so we called our parents and they drove us home. Even today, I still wonder what would have happened if Mark hadn't been there to save me.
Damn. He would have turned into a zombie. Crazy. Pretty crazy. All right. I think I might play some Dredge for a bit. Some Dr. Bob. Do a Dr. Bob real quick. There's any good ones. The coffee machine.
Two massive creatures are
Too massive. I haven't heard that in a while. Gorefield. Yeah, Dredge is cool. Dredge is good. Well, I was going to take a little BRB anyways before I start playing Dredge, so I'll just do that now. Then we'll watch Dr. Bob, and then I'll play Dredge. I'll be right back. Stomach is like messed up. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'll be back in a few. Sit tight. All right. Let's watch some Dr. Bob.
Warning lights flash, and heavy boots stomp down the sanitized hallways of Site 19.
Heavy boots.
A mobile task force has been dispatched, wielding heavy weaponry and wearing tactical gear. But underneath their jet black armor, these mobile task operatives are sweating. The SCP thereafter has a very particular set of skills that make them a nightmare to people like this team. Plainly put, anything that the mobile task force can do, the anomaly can do better. Because the anomaly that chose to breach containment is SCP-056,
Oh,
codenamed
fuck.
A Beautiful Person. This shape-shifting being takes the form of a superior version of whatever object or entity it encounters, though typically only by a relatively slim margin. The Foundation has no real way of truly containing SCP-056 because of the unique nature of its anomalous abilities. Instead, their tactic has long been playing to the truly toxic ego of the creature, designing the containment chamber more like a luxury hotel room, perfectly
Dr.
suited
Bob.
to 056's refined taste. However, as a sentient being with a mean streak, keeping an entity like 056 permanently caged is rarely as simple as sprucing up said cage. Some days, like today, 056 will want a change of scenery, and on those days, there's almost nothing the Foundation can do to stop it. As the mobile task forces dispatched to Site 19 scan the halls and spool through security footage, desperately hoping to find some clue as to the vain creature's presence, 056
Who is she, though?
actually long gone. Having assumed the form of a handsome, charming scientist after an average-looking scientist with bad social skills walked past its containment chamber, 056 had slipped out of the site undetected before anyone even realized that a breach had occurred. Then, seeing a
I was gonna
vulture
say
fly
she's
overhead,
probably on
056
Twitch
had
now.
taken the form of a bald eagle and flown further, leaving the
What?
isolated Site 19 in the dust.
She's a changeling.
056 is ready and eager for a night on the town, but when 056 decides it's going to paint the town red, it doesn't always mean it in the metaphorical sense. 056 arrives in a small American town, like many that pop up along lonely desert highways. Noticing a plain, unremarkable woman walking past, it immediately transforms into an absolute stunner, with fine diamond jewelry and an expensive-looking red dress. As
An
she walks to a
absolute
local diner,
stunner.
she turns heads from everyone she passes, doing nothing to hide her conceited smirk. I really should do this more often, she thinks. When she passes a self-conscious-looking woman with a fake Gucci handbag, 056 suddenly manifests the real deal, brimming
Wow.
with stacks of cash and even more jewelry. Everywhere she goes, her mere presence makes people feel terrible about themselves, and she couldn't be happier. She walks into a local diner where a report on the radio is detailing abandoned, wrecked cars found along the side of a local highway. There were bodies inside in horrific states, so horrific that they couldn't even share the details on the broadcast. But 056 doesn't care about any of that. She simply orders some pancakes in the diner and rudely asks the cashier if he can break a $100 bill. When she receives her pancakes, she takes a single bite before throwing them at the wall and complaining about how terrible they are, then leaving. She takes joy in knowing how awful this will make people feel. On the way out, she decides to take a shortcut down a dark alley, where a woman in expensive
That makes you
clothes,
ugly,
carrying an expensive
okay?
purse brimming with money, is liable to
You can't just
attract
be
the
throwing
wrong kind of
pancakes at
attention.
walls and stuff.
Two muggers, one armed with a switchblade and the other armed with a gun, emerge from the darkness, wearing malicious grins. That purse looks a little heavy there, lady, one of the muggers says. Yeah, how about you let us carry it for you? The other
How about
adds.
you let us
056
carry it
smiles
for
and
you?
says, Are you sure you have the upper body strength? They don't take kindly to this.
Damn.
As the two muggers prepare to beat this strange woman within an inch of her life and steal all her earthly belongings, she suddenly transforms, shapeshifting into a ripped kung fu master in white robes. Before either of the muggers can respond to this baffling transformation, 056, in his kung fu master form, is beating the living hell out of them and leaving the dastardly duo in a crumpled heap on the ground as he walks away, whistling a merry tune. But making women feel inadequate, insulting small businesses, and beating up petty criminals isn't enough for SCP-056. This thoroughly unpleasant anomaly has the need for speed, and the best way to achieve that need is to obtain a car, or perhaps even
Can she
better,
turn into a car,
become
though?
one. Not
Oh
long
my
after the thought
God.
passes his mind, 056 arrives at a parking lot. He looks over the various parked cars, most of which are unremarkable specimens. That is, until he comes across a parked Ferrari and feels his imagination begin to soar with possibilities. A Ferrari? Oh, I can do better than that. In the following moments, SCP-056 flawlessly shapeshifts into a brand new, cherry red Bugatti sports car and starts doing gleeful donuts in the parking lot. 056 then puts the pedal to the metal and speeds out onto the road, where it can pick up some real speed, having no idea that for once it would attract some attention.
He forgot that he was a person.
But 056 doesn't care about
and
that
just
yet.
lived his
It's
life
too
as a
focused on
car.
breaking its speedometer with sheer insane speed, tearing down the highway at over 100 miles an hour, then building and building and building.
It's like Animorphs. You can only
056
stay in
is
that
lucky
form
that
for
there are
like
seemingly
5
no other
minutes, and if
cars
you
on the
stay
road
longer,
tonight.
you just
Well,
stay
except
that
one
forever.
it notices far in the distance behind itself.
That would be
Is
kind of
that
crazy.
A beat-up old police cruiser? How embarrassing. 056 speeds up even more, hoping to leave the police cruiser as little more than a distant memory. But it doesn't work out that way. Instead, the beat-up police cruiser miles behind 056's sleek supercar begins to build in speed.
It's another
Little
one
by
of
little,
him.
It seems to be doing the impossible, catching up. Being a thoroughly arrogant and unpleasant anomaly, 056 doesn't take the prospect of being humiliated lightly. It decides to take a sharp left turn off of the highway onto a mostly dirty side road, slowing down slightly, as though to challenge the police cruiser to carry on the chase. The police cruiser accepts the challenge and makes the turn after 056 with shocking speed. How is this busted-up old police cruiser keeping pace with a brand-new anomalous Bugatti? 056 doesn't understand,
This movie is
but it
sick.
won't give in. It has to keep believing it's the best, no matter what. 056 tears off down the road until it reaches some dense woods with only a single dirt road cutting through the middle. The Bugatti's wheels kick up mud and dry leaves, its roaring engine sending the animals of the forest scattering in every direction. And still, the police cruiser follows, its high beams cutting through the murky gloom of the forest. Suddenly, it goes from eerie silence, save for the roar of twin engines, to the flashes of red and blue lights and the shrill wail of the police cruiser's siren. 056 finds the whole arrangement laughable. It's escaped the SCP Foundation before. Did some small-town cop really believe he could take 056 down? But what 056 doesn't know is that it isn't being followed by just any small-town cop.
Oh,
it gets
fuck.
a clue to the true horrifying nature of its pursuer when the Bugatti's radio crackles into life, and a single word begins endlessly repeating in a warped, scratchy voice suffused with static. Run, 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 run. 056 is at a loss. This doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be possible for any normal police cruiser to have this effect, unless... Before 056 can even finish the thought, the police cruiser closes the distance in a single freakish burst of speed. It smashes into the back of the Bugatti and rams it into a brutal tailspin.
Transform
sending
into an
it skidding
eagle,
off
just
the
fly
dirt road
away.
and crashing into the trees, where it flips twice and comes to rest upside down. Totaled. Its radio still repeats that single warped, ominous word. Run, 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 run. 056 is stunned as it lays
Also, if that's the
injured and in
Bugatti's,
car
like,
form
radio,
against the cold and unyielding trees of this
setup,
dark,
that looks so
isolated
dumb.
forest. How is that even possible? It doesn't make sense. Is this police cruiser some kind of undercover tactical vehicle in league with those worthless worms at the SCP Foundation? The police cruiser has ground to a halt on the dirt road, idling, its lights still cutting through the gloom. The driver's door, marked with the words, "Protect and Serve," slides open, and a shadowy figure steps out. 056 can immediately sense an inhuman presence in its midst. This may look like some doughy, middle-aged cop with a handlebar mustache, but that's just a
He
disguise.
has no mouth.
If anyone understands disguises, it's SCP-056. What 056 doesn't know is that the entity about to attack it is, in fact, known to the SCP Foundation, but isn't aligned with them in the slightest. They refer to it as SCP-973,
Smokey.
codenamed Smokey, an anomalous police cruiser that contains a terrifying occupant. It's known as one of the more deadly, mysterious, and sadistic creatures that the Foundation still hasn't fully succeeded in containing. Any humans who fall prey to it have a terrifying demise in store for them. But how would an anomaly fare?
Just like a
We're
normal
about to
cop.
find out. Smokey, the nightmarish anomalous police officer, begins walking down the grassy bank towards the overturned Bugatti.
You were going
His
too
skin is
fast.
paper pale. His eyes glow a burning brimstone red. He clenches his pale, veiny fists, excited by the thought of the coming violence. This idiot in the sports car really thought it could get away from him? No one gets away from Smokey. "Exit the vehicle, boy," Smokey says in a crackling southern drawl, "or I'm gonna rip you out of it." But Smokey doesn't wait for an answer. He charges forward and digs his fingers into the metal of the car, displaying his terrifying superhuman strength. He begins tearing away parts of the car,
ow!
peeling back panels of metal like a normal person would peel an orange. He imagines the terror of the person within, the sweet fruit under all these layers of obstruction. Gonna get you, boy, he repeats, voice almost shaking with excitement. Gonna get you, gonna get you, gonna make you scream, gonna make you scream like a scared little piggy. Then suddenly, the car just vanishes. The chunks of metal he's holding are gone. Smokey looks around, baffled. He's done strange and terrible things on these roads, but this is still a new one, even for him. He looks up and stares into the darkness of the forest. The car is nowhere to be seen out there. Where are you, boy? Smokey rasps. You think you can run from me? Smokey hears a subdued scoff coming from behind the tree in front of him, followed by a tall, dark stranger stepping out into the dim light of the cruiser's high beams. It's SCP-056, but it isn't taking the form of a luxury sports car anymore. Now, it's taking the form of a cinematic legend, Dirty Harry, as played by Clint Eastwood, the ultimate shoot first, ask questions later cop. You think I'm running from you, punk? Harry asked. Truth is, I was sick of looking at that ugly mug of yours. Figured I'd take 5 before I came back and put a bullet through it.
Damn.
Smokey growls, his jaw unhinging and extending into a horrific black hole. Not exactly disproving my point there, Slick, Harry chided. Smokey isn't one for trading barbs. He runs towards Harry with his hands extended, claws growing out of the tips of his fingers. But Harry knows he's dealing with a monster now, and he's ready to fight back. Quicker than Smokey can even notice, Harry reaches into a holster in his coat and pulls out his trademark weapon, a .44 Magnum revolver, one of the most powerful revolvers ever made, and he's a dead shot with it. Harry draws a bead on Smokey and fires a high-powered round through the monster's forehead. Smokey is staggered for a moment, seemingly almost stunned by the shot, but the effects wear off quickly. Smokey roars and swings for Harry, who dodges in the nick of time. Smokey's clawed hand tears through the bark of a nearby tree. 056 buries a moment of quiet anxiety. It thinks, even for me, this thing is powerful. I need to watch my step. You ought to show me some respect, boy. Smokey growls. I'm a man of the law. You have no idea what you're dealing with. He swings again and again for Harry, forcing him further back into the forest. 056 tries his best to maintain that unflappable Eastwood calm. Respect is earned, not given, punk, Harry says, leveling his magnum. You think you're hot stuff because you torture and terrorize? Putting down scum like you is exactly why I joined the force. Harry unleashes, emptying the cylinder into Smokey's center mass. Bang, 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 bang. Smokey's body does the bullet dance as Harry's magnum rounds punch into him like hypersonic metal fists. Smokey digs his feet into the ground and steadies himself.
Dance.
Harry reaches into his pocket for some spare rounds, discharges the empty shells from the cylinder, and begins quickly reloading the revolver. Smokey gives him no quarter.
What is this
the demonic
fight?
cop charges forward and grabs Harry by the lapels of his suit jacket, lifting him off the ground and slamming his back into a nearby tree. The revolver falls from his hand and clatters to the forest floor. Smokey has the upper hand now. His grip is ironclad. It seems as though 056, even as Dirty Harry, won't be able to escape this one. Smokey presses him against the tree until 056 can feel the bark creaking and his bones beginning to buckle. Not so talky now, are we, boy? Smokey snickers. I'm gonna kill you slow. You're gonna beg for mercy. You're a good fighter, 056 said, beginning to shift, but I'm better. Moments later, SCP-056 is no longer
This is just
Dirty
Dragon
Harry.
Ball Z now.
Now, he's John Wick.
Oh, he's
movie
Jesus.
super assassin specialized in almost every form of combat. Smokey is briefly confused, and 056 takes advantage of that. With a few expert strikes to Smokey's face, 056 is able to wriggle out of his grip.
I don't think this is
and kick
April
Smokey in the
Fool's.
chest, creating some distance between them.
February 11th.
It's been too long since I've had a decent workout, 056, as John Wick says. Smokey reaches for John Wick, but
It's
John,
been a
drawing
while.
upon his years of combat experience, blocks Smokey's attack and returns a brutal flurry of blows to Smokey's face and chest. Every time Smokey swings with his supernatural strength, 056 swipes at his arms and uses his momentum against him. While Smokey clearly has the strength advantage,
Kinda looks like, Sergeant Slaughter.
SCP-056's anomalous ability, this form clearly
Or
trumps
like
Smokey in terms of
Big
skill.
Boss Man.
part of 056 is afraid, having rarely been met with this level of resistance. Another part of 056 is exhilarated. Getting to be better than an entity this formidable is a truly thrilling experience. You're really starting to get on my nerves, boy, Smokey says, pulling out a nightstick from his police belt. 056 draws a long titanium combat knife out of his coat. Prove it, he says, assuming a knife-fighting stance. Smokey swings for 056 with his nightstick, who blocks it with the edge of his blade. What follows is almost a kind of sword fight, where 056 and Smokey take turns striking and parrying with their respective weapons. 056 cracks his neck, giving a smarmy grin that only irritates Smokey further. The demonic cop throws his nightstick directly at 056's face. The arrogant anomaly is able to deflect the well-aimed stick with his knife, only to realize that it was just a distraction from the following haymaker. Smokey's fist collides with 056's cheek with the force of a runaway car. It knocks him off his feet, taking his legs out from under him and throwing him to the ground with a mighty thud. And Smokey doesn't let up. He crouches over the stunned 056 and strikes him again and again, pounding his clenched fists into 056's head. If the self-obsessed anomaly had any chance to speak, it probably would have yelled, "Not the face! Not the face!" Unlucky for 056, mercy is not a word in Smokey's vocabulary. 056 doesn't have time to transform. With every punch, 056's body is pounded deeper into the dirt. He can feel himself losing consciousness.
Literally just
under the
Dragon
flurry
Ball
of
Z.
blows. For the first time, he's truly terrified about what will happen to him if he passes out. What terrible things will Smokey do to him?
Give
Suddenly,
me your
floodlights
energy,
illuminate the forest from
everyone.
every angle. The hum of helicopters sound from far above. Tactical vehicles surround the forest, manned by highly trained, highly armed SCP Foundation mobile task forces. Snipers line up their shots on Smokey, preparing to fire with armor-piercing 50 caliber rounds. Ground troops armed with assault rifles all pour in. As though a magic spell has been cast, Smokey, along with his cursed cruiser, disappears. All that's left is a bruised, bloody, and disoriented SCP-056, still shaking in pain and terror on the ground. It doesn't take long for 056 to be surrounded by Foundation
seems like a
personnel,
little unfair.
ready to take it back into containment. To even its own surprise, it's tremendously relieved. 056, whimpering, says, "I'd like to go back to my room, please." Check out the Dr. Bob Patreon and become a junior researcher today. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob, like SCP-056.
A beautiful person.
Beautiful person.
Oh, Dr. Bob. What a fucking weird story. It just started off as a lady, turned into a car. And then a fucking cop. Man. Thing. Where's the thing? Let's watch one more thing and then I'm going to play Dredge now. Dang. I think we watched this the other night, but whatever. Put it on again.
Have you ever been so overwhelmed by fear that you were frozen and you couldn't even move your fingertips? Without blinking, without moving your mouth, without talking, and without taking your feet off the floor? Have you ever had such an awful experience that all you could do is shiver, helplessly, frozen in place? I have. And that story is what I'm going to talk about from now on. When I was 11, one day I was playing in the woods with my friends until nightfall. I told them I had to go home quickly, and I left them in case my mom would scold me for being out too late.
From now on, that's all I'm going to talk about.
On the way home, something seemed strange. Suddenly, there was no sound of insects or animals crying at all. In the silence, I got goosebumps and looked around slowly. However, then a faint sound came from the forest. At first I thought it was an animal cry, but the sound grew instantly. No, the sound didn't get louder. The sound was coming at me, and it was getting closer at a terrific speed. But no animal could have moved so quickly. When I thought about that, I instantly got goosebumps. At that moment, in the dark, I saw
If it played the
something approaching
Goosebumps song
me after it
when he said that, that
and at the
would be
time,
pretty good.
I faced
Yo,
a scene that I
Dave.
would never see again in my life.
What's up, dude? Thanks for the raid, man.
A creature with multiple limbs was crawling to me at a terrific speed. At first,
Check
I
out
thought it
that
was a
monster.
person crawling, but it was an unbelievable speed, and it came before me in the blink of an eye. When I looked more closely, it looked like a spider. It was blue and about 3 feet tall, and it had
Blue
several grape-like
monster.
eyes. I froze on the spot. Fortunately, it didn't attack me immediately. It only hovered around. It was moving around in front of my nose, and the mouth
He
seemed to
does
be
look
chewing
kind of
something at
familiar.
terrific speed. I heard the sound of chewing bones and a bizarre voice. I couldn't even breathe properly because I was so terrified. Some of you may ask why I didn't run away, but it was so fast.
Why is he
I
just
couldn't dare
chomping
to
away
run.
like that, though?
All I could do was stay still, as if I were dead. The closer the presence of it was, the colder it became, quickly. I could feel the chill from the creature, which was so cold that it couldn't be considered a living thing.
Yeah, he's
If
just
there was a lump of ice in front of me, I felt like I
he's
was going
cold
to cough in
and
the cold
old.
air, so I suppressed it all the way. It moved back and forth in front of me for a while, and it seemed like it was thinking whether to eat me or not. I couldn't even move a muscle, and I had to stand there and shiver with endless fear. Do you know that feeling? That the moment I move, that the living thing is about to attack me. No one will ever know the feeling of what I'm talking about. In that state, I couldn't move my hands, even though my nose felt itchy, and I couldn't turn my body, even though my legs hurt. I breathed very quietly because I was afraid.
What does that kid say?
Even the sound of breathing would be heard by him, and I felt like I was gradually running
Stupid
out of
old man
oxygen.
full of green dust.
That is how I stood in an immovable position for an awfully long time, and it circled around me dozens of times. And it finally slowly started to move away from me, little by little. I still
Dusty
didn't
old
move when it was
bones,
about 100
full
meters
of green
away,
dust.
because it seemed like the moment I moved, it would run instantly and tear me apart and chew me up. After a long time, finally, the thing disappeared into the forest and I could move again. As soon as I took a step forward, I fell to the
don't
ground,
believe you.
feeling great pain and cramping in my leg muscles. I pretty much crawled on my hands and feet, and I eventually managed to get home. When my mom saw my blue lips and that my whole body was wet with sweat,
And my mom saw that my
she asked what
face
going
was
on.
fucking
I
melting.
talked to her about it, but she didn't believe it. Then I saw the clock, and surprisingly, I realized that when I met that thing, that I stood still like a rock for an hour. That night, I suffered from awful body aches. My fever went up to 104 degrees, and the village doctor came and treated
Doctor
me.
looks like oddly
Fortunately, I survived, and I told
kind
the
of
doctor
happy.
about seeing it, but he said, "That is truly strange. There was one other kid who said he saw what you talked about before. But the child went missing a while later, and he's still missing." His facial expression hardened. Fortunately for me, I haven't seen it since that day.
A
but I
milk
thought I
day,
could find
doctor,
out the
help
cause
me.
of what had happened in my town in the meantime. Dogs and livestock that were raised went missing.
Damn.
Neighborhood people also went missing in the woods. The police determined that they were eaten by wild animals, but, well, I don't think so. Sadly, I don't think there were many people who properly judged the situation like
It looks
me.
like Zelda 2.
Everyone would have ran away
For
the
some
moment
reason.
they saw it, and they
It's
wouldn't
like
have
those
known it was
woods.
a wrong judgment. They wouldn't have known it was impossible to run away from it,
Got 'em.
fortunately. After that incident, my family moved, and I don't know what happened to the mysterious
Look how
thing.
small that car is compared to that truck. You get like
It was,
5 of
I
those
still don't
cars in the
know.
back of that fucking moving
I
van.
still remember it freshly. The fear of that day. The fear of death that I felt when it constantly circled around me and breathed chills.
Well, now it looks
Even now when
tiny.
I think about it, my heart feels like it's going to stop. If at the time I couldn't hold my cough, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
It is kind of a cool design. Look at that. Looks like a demon from like digital devil saga, as the kids call it. All right, let's play some Dredge for a bit. Before I get too tired. At least a little. Let's dredge it up. This game is really fun.